Good morning, everybody. This is Dee Reinhardt with Illinois WorkNet. I would like to welcome you to the call this morning. I have Olivia Miller on the phone with me. It's really hard for me to say Olivia Miller. And
hi, everybody.
Just to let everybody know, I had an emergency phone call between the time that I was going to get numbers done for the dashboard and now. So we will include numbers in the minutes. Just to let you know, I will pull up the dashboard here and just to show you where we are, and then you can take a look. We've got 198 reverse referred customers, or new cohort customers, I guess I should say. So that's really good. And only 4 of them have been verified not EPIC eligible. So that's a wonderful thing. So we're going to be able to spend this money that we've received for this grant, and that's just great. We do have 26 people that are needing to be accepted for verification. So if you see your agency name or your office name in that list, please, please, please make sure that you get those accepted. We have 10 that are past due. We have 6 that need to be scheduled, and I think there's something going on with the scheduling tool, so we're going to have to take a look at those 6. But otherwise, we're in decent shape there. There's 135 people that need to have an appointment scheduled. That's a huge, huge number. That's the biggest I've ever seen that. So if you could go in and take care of those numbers, that would be great. Now remember, then we have, down here we have no longer appropriate for provider services.
Hey, Dee, I think your headset might have cut out.
All right, can you hear me again?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right, so, okay, we connected again. My headset disconnected, sorry. So we have 4 that are no longer appropriate for provider services. We have 12 that you need to review for sanction. One thing that I would like to note on here, I was just looking at the customers from the no contact from customer referral pending. These are people, there's 30 of them in my list. Excuse me. There's 30 in my list that did not show for an orientation. There are some people in that list from August of last year. So you guys need to be checking this list on a regular basis because these people need to be talked to at least, especially if they're in the voluntary areas. They at least need to have a conversation had with them, even if you can't sanction them. And then I believe that is it. We'll get the specific numbers out in the minutes. We're working on making sure this new cohort is moving smoothly, and I had a couple of calls that had to be taken care of right away for that. So we can move on to the next item on the agenda, which happens to be, if I can move this down just a little bit, review invite dashboard eligibility verification. So does anybody on the call, and unfortunately we only have 11 people on the call, so this is not doing many of the people that need to hear this any good. We need to, does anybody on the call need to verify, go over any of the process for the employee eligibility and verification for that? If not, we can move on to the next item on the agenda.
Well, I would just like to add here that when we're doing the eligibility review verification, we have a little confusion going on between the CBOs and DHS staff, And the confusion lies in the DHS staff going in and marking the customers as SNAP eligible and then saving them prior to talking with the customer and getting the family needs assessment completed. So what we want to do is once we get that eligibility verification sent over to us, we can check the checkbox that acknowledges that we saw it, the eligibility verification, but we don't need to actually go in and give them an eligibility status until after you have met with them or talked with them over the phone to complete that family needs assessment and they're ready to go to the CBO. That way the CBO is not going in and seeing, oh, well, they're EPIC eligible, why aren't they being sent to us? So just make sure you're adding that eligibility in after you've met with them, talked with them, and they're ready to go to the CBO.
If you accept it, you do have to enter their Social Security number, though. Okay. All righty. Then the next piece is we have a new reporting tool that's being worked on. I'm testing on it this week, and we're doing some trainings in some of the for the providers. If you click Save, whatever you have changed on there will save. But if you don't click Save and Schedule, then it won't move forward to the invitation portion so that you can say, yes, go with this invitation. So, Williamson, is this Brandy or is this Donna? Brandy and Susan, okay. So, Brandy, do you want to talk with me afterwards, or did I answer your question well enough? Okay. Hi, Pam. All right. So now the next piece is we've got we have control group reporting that's going to be taking place. Let me pull my screen up just a little bit. One of the things that this is happening is we need to send a report to the study team for the information that has been gathered for the control group customers. So we have a new system, and I've got a piece in the file pod below that's directions for this control group reporting. What will be happening is the customers who have already been assigned to a CBO for traditional SNAP ENT will be assigned to an agency, but there may be a few customers that need to be assigned, and so DHS staff will be responsible for assigning those staff. So if we're looking for a customer, you will need to enter their name and their date of birth, so if I put in the right pieces there, so 7/5/1998, and then I search, Mazda car will come up, and I will be able to assign the person to the proper agency. And then the agency will be able to go in and input all the data for that agency's activity with that customer. So then if you go to the customer, suppose Mazda car needs to change to a different agency, you would go into the list of customers that were assigned by that agency, go to the progress page, and then there's a button right here that will say unassigned, but right now this customer was just assigned, so there is no data in here, so we can't change that. You would unassign them, go back to the list, reassign them to a different agency. I'm going to see if I can't simplify that process just a little bit for the DHS staff, but at this moment, this is not a communication tool. It is just a reporting tool. So that's basically all the involvement that you guys will have with these customers is making sure that the assignment is with the proper agency. All right, moving on. Olivia, do you want to go over the item that you put into the chat pod?
Yeah, so that is what I was speaking about regarding the reverse referral process. So you guys are going in and clicking that you acknowledge that you got the eligibility verification request, which you should be doing, but then you're also completing their eligibility verification saying they're SNAP eligible and EPIC eligible. We should not be giving them an eligibility status at that point because you need to complete the family needs assessment with them to determine if they're a good fit for the EPIC program. So you should not give them any eligibility status until after you've met with the customer, not just by checking the system and seeing what it is. That's why you're calling them in to see if they're going to be a good fit for EPIC and be able to participate in the program. After you have done that is when you should go in and confirm their SSN and verify their eligibility and give them an eligibility status, and then you'll click the Save and Invite. We don't want to go in the first day we get it, give them an eligibility status and save it, because that's not guaranteed to be their eligibility status, and the CBOs are seeing that you're saying they're EPIC eligible, and they're like, well, then why aren't they coming back to us? So wait until after you have met with the customer and assessed them for eligibility before giving them an eligibility status.
You can do it by phone. It does not have to be in person.
Yeah.
All right, we got a couple people typing here. So I had a customer tell me he is already active with EPIC provider moving forward. So going to North Lawndale. They may have gone to an orientation, and they may be enrolling them into a program and doing the reverse referral to see if they can get additional education, training, or supportive services paid for through EPIC. So the agencies, if they have other monies available, they may serve the customer anyway, but they will be submitting for EPIC. You were only given 48 hours.
So, and with that 48-hour thing, guys, that's checking the box saying that you acknowledge you received the eligibility verification. That's why it's its own separate piece, so that you can do that part within 48 hours to acknowledge and get that customer scheduled to come in and meet with you. You have 12 days, 14 days, do you remember which one, Dee? To actually get the customer turned around. 12 business days to get the customer turned around. So you have 48 hours to acknowledge the eligibility verification request by selecting that checkbox, meaning that you know they need an eligibility verification request verified, so you called the customer to come in within 48 hours of receiving the request. But then within 12 business days, that customer has to come in, or you have to speak with them over the phone, do the family needs assessment, and then you give them an eligibility status. Does that all make sense? Got some people typing.
All right, Creasel's got it.
Awesome.
Thinking I would click the verify and then save that verification. We can just choose verified their eligibility, but not. I'm not quite sure I get what you just typed, Brandy. Are you saying that you can click the box and save, or you can click the box and not save without clicking a verification, an eligibility? Brandy, did you dial in, or are you listening by computer speakers? All right, let me open up your phone line. 618.
And there'll be very few times that you're going to click the Just Save button. The Just Save button is mainly if you're entering in a customer's information, but you haven't completely got all their information. So maybe you get the first parts of it typed in and you want to come back to send them to a CBO later. That's when you're going to click Save, when you're completing the invite yourself. For the reverse referrals, there should be no reason to save and come back later.
All right. Brandy, I just unmuted your phone. Try and tell me
what Olivia said made sense. We were thinking that because we were clicking the Verify Eligibility button, that we needed to save that we click that. But what she said made sense, that we just click that button and then we don't do anything. We make an appointment in our office, but we don't click Save or Save and Schedule because we haven't completed our process.
Well, you have to click the button and click Save.
Okay, but that was different than what Olivia just said.
All right, I'm going to verify after we get off of this call that we don't have to do anything else. I'm going to test as a DHS caseworker and make sure, and then we will make sure that we put that in the minutes and make sure that the directions say the right thing.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Okay, all right, so moving on to the next piece is the survey. On here, at the very top of the chat pod, I put in the link for the SurveyMonkey survey for the DHS staff who have worked with the EPIC program. I should have 180-ish responses, and I have 45. So if you or your team in your office who have worked with EPIC have not answered the survey, please make sure that you do that before the next call. So if you can complete the survey by Friday the 8th, I would appreciate it because we want to start compiling data from all of the users from EPIC. And since there's so few people on the call, I'm sure that this is not going to get done, but I can only hope. All right, and then EPIC updates. We've had a number of updates, and I'm going to pull this open, and you can read these. You can also go to the updates page so that you can see what's going on. So if something is happening and you let us know, we try to make the fix if the fix can be made. So these are all of the updates that have taken place since our last call. Many of them happened the day of our call, but there are things there that you might want to review. A couple of important ones for the super admin, which are Olivia and me and Deidre and her team. We have the ability to go into an application and move an office without accepting the eligibility verification. So if somebody schedules something for Uptown and it should have been Lower North, then we can go in and change that office, and then Lower North could then accept the eligibility verification and move it on. A couple of other things that happened. When a CBO enters a person that will be locked in, please, please, please refer to your CBO contact list that is down in the file pod to make sure that you are selecting the proper primary contact. Then the other thing, there's just so many of them here. I don't want to read them all. but you can read them, and we'll make sure that we put them in the notes, or at least the link to the page in the notes. All right. I don't have any other items. I'm going to minimize this box right here. We will test the option that we were just talking about and make sure that that gets into the minutes properly and let you know for sure. If you did not check in, please do that, and we will talk to you again on the 15th. Have a great rest of your day, everybody.